The second half of the national season has been all about Luis Garcia Jr. and his breakout, so let's get into it. Should the Nationals extend him?
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, I'm your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as our show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, make sure to check us out over on Twitter. And of course, while you're at it, make sure to search us up, Locked On Nationals, wherever you get your podcasts, including over on YouTube. Again, search Locked On Nationals. Later on in today's show, we're going to discuss Patrick Corbin getting his 100th win in Major League Baseball. It took a little while. He is 3-12 on the season. He started out the season with 97 wins. You would think he would have been able to get there by June, but it was August 22nd. But I do want to give some kudos and to get into Patrick Corbin getting that 100th win in Major League Baseball. It is a very cool, just really cool moment for him. You saw it on the field yesterday. His family was there, and it was just a great game for Patrick Corbin. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. Second segment, it is a Friday, so it is a Nats Prospect Stock Report Friday. Who's been hot and who has been not, whose stock is up and whose stock is down. But we start off discussing Luis Garcia Jr. in his second half breakout. What should the Nationals do? What do we make of this breakout? And should the Nationals extend him? Well, I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. So before we get into it, today's episode is brought to you by SupplyHouse. And SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to get parts fast. Shop for your next plumbing, h-vac, or electrical job and get fast shipping from coast to coast at SupplyHouse.com. So should the Nationals be in the business of extending Luis Garcia Jr.? I'm not up for that right now. In fact, I probably would not do that at this moment. I don't think it's the right thing to do for where the Nationals are and for where the Nationals want to be. I don't think that's where the Nationals should go. The reason why I say that is there's a couple different avenues we can go down here. Luis Garcia Jr. has had his opportunities to break out. And while we can talk about how this season for him has been a complete turnaround for someone who may have even been cut, and that's what we were talking about even. We were talking about Luis Garcia being let go before this season. I thought it was a real possibility. Because, again, last year, the Nationals sent him down for what seems like the fourth straight season, down to AAA. And when they did that, Mike Rizzo went on the Sports Junkies over on 106.7 The Fan, and he talked about the reasons and said pretty openly why they did that. He was out of shape. His preparation wasn't good enough to be a major leaguer. He really, now, this is not what he said exactly, but what we can take from it is that he wasn't ready to be a major leaguer, and he wasn't preparing to be a major leaguer, even though that was his fourth season up in the bigs. Luis Garcia Jr., though, over the course of this season, there is certainly an argument to be had as to why he should get an extension. And I'll make that argument for you. If you take away the numbers over at second base defensively, first off, he has been very good defensively this year. Not very good, but he has been surprisingly good. He started over at shortstop, not this season, but before C.J. Abrams arrived 2 years ago. And over the last handful of years, you've seen him at shortstop. He's not an everyday shortstop. So the Nationals move him over to second base, and he's solid defensively. He can get the job done. He's got good range. But you've seen him make mistakes in the past where he probably shouldn't be making. But right now, his Major League Baseball ranks, and this is not the National League. This is across Major League Baseball. For second baseman, he is third in batting average, second in RBIs, fifth in stolen bases, which, by the way, he's got 20 on the season. He's on pace for a 2020 season. 5th in OBP, 2nd in slugging, 2nd in OPS, and 6th in WAR. The thing with Luis Garcia is this. If it wasn't for Ketel Marte with the Arizona Diamondbacks having just an insane season, he would be first in a lot of categories. He is ahead of guys that you hear talked about way more often than Luis Garcia Jr. Former MVP Jose Altuve. He's ahead of him in a lot of different stat categories. Second baseman with the Phillies, Bryson Stott. He's ahead of him in plenty of different categories as well. The breakout is real. That is something that we can look at and say, yeah, Luis Garcia Jr. is having an incredible season. And by the way, he's still just 24 years old. So if the Nationals do decide to go that route and extend Luis Garcia Jr., would I be upset with that? No. But I would also be cautious in paying him. Because again, we have seen Garcia have these sort of breakouts. Not to this extent, though. But you have seen him in years past kind of go on these hot streaks. And I think we can say beyond this point in 2024, this isn't just a hot streak. This could just be who he is. But I am willing to take a gamble with him. I am willing to see what the Nationals can do down the line with their prospect development. In fact, I think another road the Nationals could go down this year. Now, some people may be upset with this. Some may not. I would even consider trading him this offseason. A smart analytical team may look at the 24-year-old Luis Garcia Jr. and they may see something that the Nationals may not see down the road. And in fact, as we know, the Nationals, they've got guys who could play up the middle relatively soon. Maybe that's Seaver King. Maybe it's other guys down the road. Maybe it's Jose Tena. You don't really know at this point. But Luis Garcia Jr., and yes, this is a breakout in 2024, I would still not consider extending him at this point in time. I just can't really trust that this breakout is a thing. I cannot just say that he's going to be the second baseman of the future. While he's put up great offensive numbers and he's solid defensively at best, I just cannot trust the fact that he's going to be able to do this over the course of 162 games in back-to-back years. Now, going into next season, if he's still really good, let's start talking. Let's see if he can do this over 2 seasons. Let's see if the preparation pays off. Let's see if the coaching and the development pays off for Garcia, and then the Nationals and Mike Rizzo could have a bigger, just more powerful discussion than what we have right now. But I'm skeptical. I just am. I can't go out there and trust him. I just simply cannot to do this for a second straight season. And some people may be upset with that, but that is the track record that we have right now. Consistency has always been a big issue with Garcia. The second you see consistency, which we have seen so far this season, I'm not just going to hand him a check and say, well, here you go. Here's your 8-year deal or whatever kind of deal that it would be. It's an interesting conversation nonetheless, but let me reiterate my point. I'm not going to trust this kind of breakout season from Garcia Jr. just yet, especially when you have work ethic issues, because that's really the principle of this discussion. Mike Rizzo talked about it last year. Can he do it again next year? And if he does do it again next year, let's talk about an extension. But at this point in time, if I'm going into this offseason with Luis Garcia Jr., I'm dangling him and maybe another prospect to try to get a starting pitcher. That's what I would do. And maybe that's what the Nationals will do as well. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And next, it's a Nats prospect stock report. Who's been up and who has been down. There's a ton of big names on this list, including guys like Cruz, Seaver King, Alex Clemmey, Rafael Ramirez Jr., and Tyler Stewart. We'll discuss that. But before we get into it, I'm going to tell you guys about our friends over at Liquid IV. And of course, when you're taking in America's pastime, don't forget to hydrate with Liquid IV's Popsicle Firecracker flavor, a surefire summer hit. And get hydrated with electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients from the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, because baseball and summer go together like Liquid IV and indulgent hydration. Yesterday for the Nationals Day game, I was feeling a little down after my workout, so I poured in my Liquid IV in there. And of course, my favorite flavor is lemon lime. I poured that lemon lime flavor in there, shook it up. And of course, I had all my essential vitamins. I was feeling hydrated. And of course, it tastes good as well. And I drank that up. And I was sitting there in the hot sun all day long. And I felt just fine. And of course, you can find other favorite flavors on their website, from acai berry and lemon lime to pina colada as well. So there's no more thirsty summers when you indulge in hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MLB at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MLB at liquidiv.com. Now, I'm going to tell you guys about our other very good friends over at SupplyHouse. And of course, get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is a reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business, and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from the free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day. So we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, check us out, Locked On Nationals. Again, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever it is, search up Locked On Nationals, hit that subscriber button for your daily content of the Washington Nationals. So we get into a Nats prospect stock report. This is your latest report on individual performances for your Nationals prospects, and there are some big names, so let's get into it. Stock up for the number 3 prospect in Major League Baseball, Cruz. Since the beginning of August 1st, Cruz has been on fire, and say it with me, call him up. Call him up. He is ready for the majors. Since August 1st, he is batting .306, a .366 OBP, a .542 slug, and a .908 OPS. He's got 4 home runs, 14 RBIs. He's got a double. He's got a handful of triples in there, and 22 hits in those games, and as well, 15 runs on the dot. Cruz, he's ready. Call him up. He has now been putting together a very good last month plus down in AAA. His numbers are better than even what they were in AA Harrisburg. Cruz is ready to be a major leaguer. I don't know what we're waiting for at this moment in time. I would expect for him to get called up maybe in the next week or so. Once the September call-ups come, you will certainly see him up in the bigs eventually here over the next few weeks, and I think he stays and cracks the opening day lineup, but the kid is ready. Call him up. Stock down for the 2024 first-round pick, Seaver King. His last 8 games, his only 8 games in Fredericksburg, it's been a little bit of a slow start. And again, this is a project. We know this. It's going to be a big project for the Nationals. He was the 10th overall pick. He's not in any of the top 100 rankings at this moment, or at least on MLB.com. I haven't seen Baseball America's updated top 100, but right now he's got a .599 OPS. He does have a triple and he does have 3 stolen bases in those 8 games, which is pretty good. He's batting .250, but still, it just seems a little too bright for him at this moment in time. Seaver King, it's going to be a process. We know that. We knew that when the Nationals took him at number 10. But I am not underwhelmed because, again, he just played a very tiresome season with Wake Forest deep into the playoffs there, and ultimately they fell short. But Seaver King, he's got the talent. We do know that, but it has been a slow start for him in Fredericksburg so far. So that is one thing to really kind of keep an eye on, and as well as Caleb Lomavita is there as well. He's had a slow start, so we'll see what the Nationals can do with both those guys as we continue this season, but stock down for Seaver King. But good news, stock up for Alex Clemmey. Alex Clemmey has been really good so far for the Fredericksburg Nats, and over his last 4 starts, he's got 14 1/3 innings pitched, only 8 hits allowed, 6 earned runs, 14 strikeouts. He's got a 3.77 ERA. He's got a 174 batting average against and a 490 OPS against. Here's the one concerning factor is that he's walked 10 batters in these 14 1/3 innings pitched in those 46 at-bats. I'm not concerned with the walk rate. He's still a young kid. He's like 19 years old. He is crazy young, and he has been very good so far. And if you remember, I've kind of considered him to be in that DJ Hurst stratosphere. I think DJ Hurst is a very good prospect, a good starting pitcher as we have seen, but there are some issues there. You do have to kind of control that command. And again, I think the Nationals can get that down because you have seen them work with Mitchell Parker and DJ Hurst, 2 other left-handed pitchers who have been good. Neither other guys like Bennett, who we took from the University of Oklahoma in the 2nd round back just 2 years ago, who was having a very good season until he had Tommy John surgery in 2023. But I think Alex Clemmey will be even better than guys like that. You have to trust the development process. And ultimately, the Nationals, they will have to develop him in full because this kid has a lot of talent. And if you talk to Guardians people, they were upset with the fact that they traded away Alex Clemmey. They believe in what he could be. They think that he could be something very good down the road. But right now, he's been solid for the Nationals, so he gets a stock up for the Fred Nats. Stock down for his other guy who's traded over here from the Cleveland Guardians, another young teenager, Rafael Ramirez Jr. It has been a tough go for him so far, and really this season, even with Lynchburg down with the Cleveland Guardians, it was really tough for him as well. But with the Fred Nats, it's been even worse. He's batting .170, a .290 OBP, a .264 slug, and a .555 OPS in his 17 games so far. His season numbers are not great, but here's the good thing. The Nationals could fix this, and he does have a track record of hitting a lot better. But so far, in his first time in low A ball with the Fred Nats and as well as Lynchburg down with the Guardians, if you consider his last 2 years in the DSL and as well as the rookie ball and down in Florida, he has been good. He does have a track record of success there, especially at the plate. This guy's got raw talent. He's got a little bit of pop as well, sneaky pop that may not really catch up to you. He can steal some bases. But right now, it has just been a really tough go for it. And even then, he's tried to steal 3 bases with Fredericksburg. He's got caught all 3 times. He's got 24 strikeouts in those 17 games as well, 95 strikeouts on the year in 71 games. I just think this is going to be a process for him, and we'll see what the Nationals can do developing him, but he gets a stock down so far. But with a stock down, there always comes a stock up as we end positive here on Locked On Nationals, and that is Tyler Stewart, the man that we got for Jesse Winker from the New York Mets. He has been very impressive so far. In his 4 starts in Harrisburg, he had a 2.08 ERA. He just made his first start in AAA Rochester after getting the call up. What did he do? Well, he went 6 2/3 innings pitched, only got 1 hit, 1 earned run, and in that, he had 6 strikeouts with 0 walks. Tyler Stewart could be a thing. He's like 6'9" from Southern Miss. This guy has been pretty damn good in 2024, but he has really taken off since coming over to DC. In 17 starts with Binghamton in Double-A with the New York Mets, he really wasn't all too great, but he really kind of got hot in June and July and pitched really well down the stretch. He had a tough-ish first start, but since then, he has been very good for the Nationals so far. And kind of drawing those comparisons to DJ Hers, I know we just did that with Alex Clemmey, but if you remember, DJ Hers last year when he got traded to the Nats, he was insanely good for them down the stretch in Double-A and as well as Triple-A going into this year. I think Tyler Stewart could be a thing, like a real thing. Now, will the Nationals kind of push him up the chart? Will they make a debut for him this season? I could see it at this point. But also, I think he's going to be in spring training, in the rotation, to see what he could do. Because he does have very good and positive numbers so far in the season. A 1.14 whip, really 1.15, you round it up. Those are good numbers. He's not walking guys with the Nationals. He's striking out a lot of guys as well. Again, 128 strikeouts and 112 innings pitched. In his 21 2/3 innings pitched, he had 32 strikeouts down at Double-A. He just had 6 strikeouts in his debut in Triple-A Rochester in 6 2/3 innings. We could have stumped our toes into another pretty solid pitching prospect with Tyler Stewart. So keep your eye on him. But as we know, the Nationals do need pitching. I do want to talk about Patrick Corbin getting his 100th win yesterday. And it is a Mackenzie Gore day. Can he get right against the Braves? We'll discuss all of that as well. But before we get into it, let me tell you guys about our friends over at TonaI. And guys, you all know I like to work out. So for those of us who thrive on getting stuff done, including workouts, every minute counts, that's why you need TonaI. And of course, the smart strength training system that takes the guesswork out of buying work out so you can make sure you're making the most of every rep. And TonaI is the world's smartest and most effective strength training system that helps get you stronger. Powered by AI, TonaI earns with every rep so it can deliver workouts personalized just for you. And TonaI learns from your movement and provides you suggested weight recommendations for every move with detailed progress reports. They even create personalized program and workout suggestions or recommendations based on your individual goals. It's just like having a personal trainer at home with you, as TonaI will optimize every workout just for you. And right now, TonaI is offering our listeners $200 off your TonaI purchase with promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's TonaI.com and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off your purchase. That's TonaI.com, promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $200 off. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And I do want to talk about Patrick Corbin getting his 100th win yesterday, and then get into Mackenzie Gore, his running mate, you could say. And as we all know, they are very tight. And Corbin got his 100th win yesterday. He's on his final year of his massive contract that the Nationals gave him back before 2019, Game 7 winner of the World Series, Nationals icon, whichever way you look at it. Corbin deserves love. He just does. And we don't really get to give that to him all the time, considering he's got an ERA in the mid-5s. I mean, he has been statistically the worst starting pitcher in all of baseball since the start of 2020. But Corbin got his 100th win yesterday, and you just got to feel good for the guy. You just have to. Patrick Corbin does mean something to this baseball team. If there was a kind of heart and soul of this team, you may not really think of it, but it is Patrick Corbin. When the Nats are in spring training, I was lucky enough to go down to West Palm Beach and kind of get an inside look into the clubhouse. Patrick Corbin is the guy who hosts team gatherings at his place. He is the guy who picks up the dinner tab when he takes the team up to a nice steak dinner or whatever it is. He is that kind of guy. He is the guy the young pitchers go up to and try to talk about stuff and try to talk about pitching mechanics and all the different things. We kind of joke about Patrick Corbin in the way that it has been, in kind of an unfair way. I do that as well. We do it as well. But Patrick Corbin, when he is gone from this team, he will be missed. I'm sure the Nationals will find a way to replace him. They will. But I do want to congratulate him on his 100th win. That is a huge accomplishment. He deserves it. It took a little bit of time, as we know, as he just got his 3rd win of the season after making a start every other 5 days. But Patrick Corbin is a Nationals icon, whichever way you look at it, for what he did in Game 7 of the World Series. He got the win. He shut down the Astros in that game as well. Patrick Corbin, congratulations. He deserves it. 100th win in Major League Baseball. But it is a Mackenzie Gore day going up against the Atlanta Braves, which, by the way, we're 6-2 against the Braves this season. We kind of have their number. Is Mackenzie Gore going to get right? Maybe. But also, how much faith do you have in that? Austin Riley with the Atlanta Braves, he's out for a little bit of while. I don't know what to expect from the Braves down the line. I always kind of think that they're going to be in the race no matter what, but they have struggled. So we'll see what the Nationals can do. And more importantly, all eyes will be on Mackenzie Gore tonight, but we'll just have to see what the Nationals can do. A 3-game set in Atlanta, as of course, they start at 7:20. They think they're special, whatever. So I am back from Maine now. I'm done from the hiatus. Thank you all for being patient with us as I was on vacation. I had to take a little bit of a vacation time there, but we are back to being every single day. Locked On Nationals. Look us up. Search Locked On Nationals again, wherever you get your podcasts, and that is where you'll find us. But until then, I will catch you guys on Monday for the Nats Major League Stock Report. Who will be hot and who will be not? We'll see after this weekend against the Atlanta Braves. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.